Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's talk about Philip and Chloe for a minute because I'm not gonna lie, for a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, Chloe was getting on my nerves off and on. And particularly in this episode to some extent. Now after Chloe gets off the phone with her son, talks to Philip, and Philip's like, listen, we gotta figure this out. Because I got feelings for you. And at first, he's pretty much straight up asked her, do we have a shot together? And at first, Chloe pulls the whole, oh, you're trying to box me into a corner and stuff like that. And then he says it another way. And she's like, boy, it sounds like the exact same question. I'm like, lady, we're grown-ass adults, okay? Either you want me or you don't. But make up your mind, And Bella comes over, and, when Philip leaves, Bella has a talk with, Chloe. And, Chloe's sitting there talking about, she still has feelings for Brady. And, this is where it's turning into somewhat of a problem for me. Because, Bella was like, listen, this guy is literally sitting there pulling out all the stops, this, that, and the third. He clearly wants to be with you. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, so what, you just love the attention? You just love the... I mean, because seriously, she just loves the attention from, especially when both of them are fighting over her. She'll sit there and take like a good 30, 40 seconds before she decides, okay, alright, enough. I'm so glad that you feeded my vanity. And that's the thing, for somebody who comes across as down to earth and everything like that, she does have a bit of a vanity thing, especially when it comes towards Brady and Philip fighting over her. She enjoys that. And, when she was like, yeah, I know, and I'm like, okay, so you just enjoy him pining over you or something? Like, what is your deal? And, yeah, that's the thing. Bella kind of breaks it down where being with Brady, it's just nothing but baggage. With Kristen and how they're connected and everything like that, it's just not worth it. But with Philip, you get none of the baggage. So it's one of those things where it's like, alright, so let me just get this straight. Basically, the way that she tried to sell Philip is sitting there saying that he's a consolation prize. Seriously, he's a consolation prize. If Kristen was not in the picture, then yeah, she would have chose Brady and wouldn't even have thought twice about Philip. But because Brady comes with so much baggage, it's just, oh well, Philip is the obvious choice. It's like, no, Philip is just your consolation prize. Because he's doing all the right things and he's being a great guy, and you may not want him as much as you want Brady, but you'll just settle. Let's just be honest. That's what it is, and it kind of sucks a little bit. Yeah, and Philip does come back, and she's like, yeah, we could just take our time and see where it goes, and she kisses him, and then they walk off into dinner, and he's really happy, and I'm just like, man. The sad thing is that I feel like Philip is smart enough to know that in a lot of ways, he's a consolation prize. And he'll take it. He'll take it. I mean, here's the thing. There's all sorts of ways to sit there and look at it. My way, I'm looking at it from a consolation standpoint. But, you can sit there and look at it like, she likes both people. She likes both guys, but Kristen is always going to be an issue. And Philip is a great guy. So, why not give him a chance? So, that's just another way that, you can look at it. And of course, Philip goes down to Julie's. Now, Sean is there with Brady to give some of Kristen's stuff to him. And they're talking about Kristen and everything like that. And then they bring up Philip, because Chloe. And Brady's like, there's a point that I want to be with her, but with the whole Kristen thing, I don't know how we can get past that. So, he still wants to be with he still wants to sit there and be with Chloe a little bit, but he knows in a lot of ways all the damage that's happened, he's blaming himself. And of course, when Sean's there talking about Philip, Philip walks on in and Philip's like, oh, just can't keep my name out your mouth, can you? So they get into it a little bit, and of course, you got Brady going at it with Philip, and Brady's all like, oh, you pressured her into coming with you, into coming home with you and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, let's be honest. It was the obvious safest choice. It wasn't a matter of pressuring. It was just a matter of, well, the question is, do you want to live? Or do you want to sit there and look over your shoulders every time with John and Marlena? Every time you're at Marlena's place. Because it's kind of a no-brainer. So I don't really feel like it was that much pressuring. Yeah, Philip was sitting there talking sense into her, but it was the obvious choice. And hell, I think even he knew that. But of course they talk about Chloe and stuff like that, and Brady's like, oh, well, you're not good enough for her, and yada yada yada. And Philip is like, listen, you had your chance twice, let it go, move on. He not gonna lie, he walks off and he says this cringe-worthy line that I wish I could forget, and hopefully by tomorrow it could be all behind me. I am so not going to say it, but if you watched it, you know what he said. So yeah, he leaves, and of course, once again, Brady and Sean talk about him for a little bit, until Sean leaves, and Brady is just there with Kristen's crap. Now Bella meets Sean. I guess they kind of like intersect with each other, and they talk about Philip, and they talk about Brady, and they talk about Chloe, and I don't know. Even when Sean was not there talking about Philip, he was all like, oh, you're all selfish, and you destroy people's lives, and you try to get me between me and Bella, and I'm like, well, yeah, but let's be honest, if your marriage was as solid as it was, then he really wouldn't have stood a chance as far as doing any damage whatsoever. But whatever, for some odd reason, you forgave her, so like maybe you should sit there and stop taking it out on him so much. Let's be clear about something. I don't know why Bella cheated on Sean with Philip. I have no idea, but I'm just sitting there saying, bro, your marriage was kind of broken for a reason, and it wouldn't have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, Philip wouldn't have got in between y'all if there wasn't something already fundamentally wrong in that whole, setting back then. Now let's talk about Rave. Oh my goodness, I was like, what the hell am I watching? Don't get me wrong, it was hilarious. So, Rave and Ava, Ava's cooking dinner, Rave gets ready and stuff like that. He talks about the bear, Nicole and everything like that, about being good friends, and that's kind of like their thing or whatever. When Ava leaves the room, yeah, I feel like, I don't know the best way to sit there and put what happened with Rafe, but I felt like reality for him was cracking the hell up. The bear started talking to him. And of course, we all know it was his conscience. But, bear started talking to him about, how his feelings is with Nicole and everything like that. And when Nicole gets there, and Nicole picks up, the bear or whatever, the bear is talking to him again. So throughout this entire scene, it's basically sitting there guilt writing Rave. Talking about, oh well, you're with one person and you're with the other person, and you just must be so happy, you must feel like a big man having both of these gorgeous women, just cater to you and stuff like that. Now there's one point. There is one point when I guess they're like cutting up lettuce or whatever, and the bear is talking to him, and he just had enough. And he grabs the bear. He's like, shut up! Shut up! Shut up! And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Nicole and Ava turned around and looks at him like, I'm pretty sure there's like a mental ward not that far from here. Maybe you should just go there for a little bit, just to talk to someone in a white coat. Like what's going on with you? And Raven's like, I've been so tired, been working, all these long hours, and all these people that's supposed to be in jail and they're not in jail, and just making up lies as he goes along, and I'm just like, bro, really? But he tries to salvage the night. He's like, hey, listen, I don't want you to leave. Let's just have some good dinner and stuff like that. And before the minute that Nicole leaves, the bear looks at him one last time. And the bear's like, listen, you need to make up your mind about who you want to be with, and it's must clearly be getting to him, because he's having sex dreams, he's having daydreams, and now he has a bear talking to him. Bro, you need to figure this out. You need to figure this out pronto. We can't have the commissioner, the police commissioner talking to damn bears. I can't take you seriously, man. Come on, let's not get on Jordan's level, right? I have more confidence in you, man. Don't let me down, bro. Now let's talk about Lonnie and Paulina. Paulina's on the phone, and she's all like, oh, well, we just can't sit there and let Abe find out what's going on. And then Lonnie's like, find out what? What's going on? So the first 7 minutes is Paulina trying her damnedest best to come up with some sort of convincing lie. Okay? Because, Lonnie wants to know what's going on. She's like, what are you hiding from my dad? Now, she plays a scenario where she tells the truth, and Lonnie is just outraged. Now, I have a question. What was Paulina's plan? Okay? What was her plan? She was going to sit there and, trick Abe and then be like, hey, listen, I got what I came here for, and you can't sit there and say anything, because if you do, then, we're dating, it's going to look bad for you, so I suggest you keep your mouth shut if you want to sit there and be mayor. Like, what was her plan? What was her plan? I don't really understand. She's having all this guilt that's going on. And granted, yeah, she does lie and sit there and say, oh, about the ex I used to sit there and see, before I met your father and stuff like that, I was with somebody else, and I went back to Miami to break it off, and, Lonnie is like, it's not going to be that bad. Like, just tell him the truth. It's not like you was there seeing them both at the same time, so what's the problem? I just don't understand if Paulina actually is having this much of a difficult time, then what was her plan? I mean, she had to know that Abe, she knows that Abe is Lonnie's dad. So what was going to be the plan? You were just going to sit there and screw him over, and then when she finds out, you was going to sit there and say, what, F you too? Like, what was her plan? I mean, now she's getting all nervous because, Chanel is going to be part of that business, but even when Chanel's not there, like, you honestly think you're going to sit there and get access to those two babies that you sit there and start, being all wee and woo about? Like, what is your... And you can forget your relationship with Lonnie, which is practically like a daughter to you. The better version of a daughter to you, as opposed to that trash-ass daughter you want to sit there and call Chanel. But the point is, she's having all this guilt. She's going through with it. She's basically sitting there saying, we can't stop now. And I'm like, well, when was the plan? Like, at what point could you actually have stopped? I don't really understand how this is working out. I mean, when I was sitting there reading about her and hearing it from people and stuff like that, she was supposed to be the, the person that's sitting there coming in, with all these plans, and, she's had some sort of ulterior motive, and it's going to be juicy and stuff like that. But I'm like, you're not doing this on total strangers, okay? You're doing this on people that are considered family to you. So, Like, was this really worth it? I really feel like I need to find out more about this plan because it's just starting to not make a lot of sense. The only way that I can sit there and understand any of this, it is she was in debt by somebody who was either in danger or she was going to be flat broke. That's the only reason of why. That's the only reason why I can understand why she would still go through with this plan. Because once everything is revealed, that's it. You know? And I have to sit there and wonder, was this plan, whatever she's doing, worth losing her family? Also, Abe talked to Marlena. And I'm not gonna lie, this scene wasn't terrible, but it was kind of just like, alright, we're just there just to like, kind of move the clock along. I mean, all Marlena was sitting there saying was, oh, you should sit there and tell Tamron. You know, you should sit there and tell Tamron because, you know, they're sisters and stuff like that. And, you know, Abe was like, you know, I'll think about it. But I'm like, why does he need to clear anything with Tamron for? You know, if Lonnie doesn't care, you don't owe Tamron anything. You know? I mean, hell, let Paulina sit there and talk to Tamron about y'all two dating. Why actually have to sit there and do any legwork and sit there and call her up and be like, hey, listen, I know we've been not together for like, you know, eons and everything like that, but I just want to sit there and tell you that I'm dating your sister. So, we good, right? Like, what's the plan? I just feel like it's so unnecessary. But, you know, other than that, he talks about, you know, he's dating her and he likes her and all this good other stuff, and Marlena talks about how they knew each other back in college and yada yada yada, but other than that, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that scene was completely and utterly pointless. And I think that's pretty much about it. I don't think I really missed too much of anything. I think that scene was there, but it was just like, alright, come on guys, we're just moving the clock. I mean, like I said, I guess it had to be my favorite scene because it was the funniest scene, was just him talking to the bear, practically having a nervous breakdown, like the realities, like, I mean, damn. I'm like, yo, if your conscience is getting to you that bad when you have inanimate objects talking to you, bro, you need to tell her, or you need to talk to a psychiatrist or something. But I had a good laugh, so it wasn't that bad. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next video.